Hello and welcome to one of my one-off videos, I suppose, or special videos for December of 2023. So when this video goes out, we'll be well into December, and I spent the first week of December 2023 just really wrapping up my usual roster of videos, and now they'll restart in 2024. So for basically the 3 remaining weeks over Christmas, I'm gonna mix it up a bit, and so the first video where I mix it up a bit is going to be a sort of set musings revisited. So we're going to go back to Zendikar, one of my favourite sets. So this is original Zendikar, and I'm going to slice and dice it in a slightly different way than I've always done the set musings. So when I usually do the set musings series, and of course at the moment I'm basically just doing new stuff because I've gone through pretty much everything from Tempest onwards. So any ones that I might do in the future in the usual format might be where I go to do earlier sets before Tempest. So for this one, because it's a revisited set where I've already done a set musings for this, I'm going to slice it in a different way to get a different feel. And so this is going to be sliced and diced by rarity and colour. And the idea behind this is that it gives me that nice feel that you get when you open new packs. There's an echo of what they call as fan, the idea of as you fan out a booster, what feel do you get the more boosters you open? So, when you first open the first booster, you've got, 10 commons, 3 uncommons, a rare or mythic, and then a land, depending on how they do it. I know that's changed over the years. And then the more packs you open, obviously the more uncommons and the more rares you get. And as you do that, you establish this feel for the set. And it's always really interesting because you get the same sort of thing when you're drafting and when you're doing limited with a sealed pool of, say, 6 boosters. But with drafting and sealed, again, it's slightly different just because of the way drafting works. So in drafting, you're going to see more rares, potentially, unless everybody's grabbing all the rares as a first pick. Depends what they're after, I suppose, in the set. So for this episode, and I'm already getting a big smile on my face, I'm going to do, get this thing of going through by rarity order, and I deliberately haven't looked at the the MTG wiki article on Zendikar. So it's going to be fun to just see what impression you get of the set as you go through the rarities. And within the rarities, I've subdivided it by colour as well. So hopefully, we'll get a feel for, is this a multicolour set? What's going on? What things bubble to the surface? So I just thought it'd be an interesting thing to do in December 2023 when I'm looking for slightly different twists on things. I'm going to add this to the Set Musings playlist, but I'll give it a slightly different title because we've already done Zendikar in Set Musings. But I will give it a slightly different title, which I've still got to think up how I want to word this. As a follow-up, in tomorrow's videos, if you watch these videos as they sort of come out, as I release them, I'm going to do a deck durdle episode, which I haven't done in a long while, and I'm going to build a deck from 7 virtual packs of Zendikar. So that'll be fun. And the idea is I'm going to be filming that straight after this video. So what I've learned in this video, or relearn about the set, should inform me about the deck building. That's the hope anyway. So yeah, we'll see how that pans out. I've also slightly altered the views on here. The idea being that I've got it full screen, so we can get like 2 rows nice and large. So let's start off in white. And you know, again, if you want me to throw in these sort of videos in 2024, slightly different way of slicing up sets, maybe you've got a favourite set that you'd like me to revisit again. Maybe one set Musings wasn't enough and you want me to slice the set up like this by rarity, then yeah, let me know in the comments section. And yeah, I'll you know, whatever set you fancy me covering, I'll do that. At some point in the future, I fancy doing World Wake and Rise of the Eldrazi sometime in 2024, and I'll just throw them in as an additional video in the week, maybe like a Sunday video or something like that, or mix it up with another video just to make things a bit different in the year. So here we go. What have we got here? So I've got these organised by CMC, converted mana cost. So let's see what we have in white. So straight away, okay, we got damage prevention and instant there. Already I can see at common, so we're starting off at common, landfall. Clearly landfall's a thing in this set. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, step links gets +2/+2 until end of turn. So we've got a small creature here that can be buffed. Okay, now the one thing I can't unremember is I do remember that Zendikar was a fast set. So there are going to be certain things I just can't unremember. So I'm not going in this totally cold. Also, as we're looking, let's just keep an eye on the creature subtypes as well. So in white already, without scrolling down, we're seeing some cores here. This one cares about equipment. This one bounces. So yeah, mountain walk. So it looks like with the cores, they've got an interesting spell-like ability attached to them. We've also got a pump spell in white, a 2-drop, and we've got this interesting bit of removal, which is also a 2-drop. So, yeah, what's this? These expeditions as well. Okay, so we'll keep an eye out for these in different colours. So we got, whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you may put a quest count on Sunspring Expedition. Remove 3 quest counters from Sunspring Expedition, sacrifice it. You gain 8 life. Okay. So life gain in white. So we've got damage prevention, life gain at common. What else have we got? Let's go down. Another core. Also allies here. So we've got a triple creature type here. Another ally here. And a core and a core. So yeah, clearly our main creature subtype in white is core. And yeah, look, they've all got these interesting abilities on them. We got defender here. Also, some of these, not all of them. There's one here. I don't know if there's any previous, but we're getting allies in the mix as well. Oh, but yeah, there's 2 there. Okay. Interesting combat trick there. Instant speed. Is that our first flyer in white? Yeah. 3-drop for 1/2 with flying, and a little bit of damage prevention there. Okay. Are we seeing any more equipment stuff? Not so far. This one, search for plane size. So lots of interesting utility on the cores here. As in the creature type, not the band. And then we've got a Pillarfield Ox, 2/4 for 4. And a Caravan Herder with lifelink, which is a 1/5. Now we've got Kicker as well. So certain things here. If we pay the Kicker cost, we get extra goodies. So core, landfall, kicker, all things we're seeing at common here. And a lot of doubling up as well with, so we've got landfall and yeah, lots of lots of ETBs here, as opposed to like an activated ability, you know, where you pay something or you pay something and tap it. So we'll see what the other colours are like at common. So let's go to the next tab. Whoops. Okay, so yeah, going through the rarity. So yeah, I'm going to go through, you know, same colour but different rarities. Okay. Right, protection from a chosen colours. So what do we got on one drop? We've got another creature at one drop. This is uncommon. Caring about equipment. That's the core. We've got a quest here. So yeah, make a mental note of these enchantments. Quest counters. Another, so clearly allies being a thing here. More kicker, more ETB. We've got sorcery speed buff with flying. It's obviously something your opponent can see coming. And we have a trap here. And another one. For exactly one creature attacking, you may pay one white, single white, rather than pay full trap's mana cost. Destroy target attacking creature and an Arrow Valley trap. So there's a regular cost, and then there's this additional, whatever you want to call it, trap cost, or not additional, alternative trap cost, where under certain conditions you pay less. And you get the same effect, okay. Interesting. 2 life for each planes you control. You gain. So yeah, life gain. And then this, Shepherd of the Lost, 3/3, 4 and a white, so 5 drop 3/3 with flying, first strike and vigilance. Okay, so what have we added to the mix when we move to uncommon? So in terms of stuff we already had, we've got cores still. We've got this caring about equipment. We're seeing quests. We're seeing traps. We're still seeing allies and kicker. Okay, some life gain going on here. Right, let's have a look. Next, okay, moving on to rares or mythics. I've got those together here. Okay, more cores, more allies. Right, so cores and allies, but higher rarity. It's Ascension card, Luminarch Ascension. At the beginning of each opponent's end step, if you didn't lose life this turn, you may put a quest counter. So yeah, more questing. Okay, so here's mass removal. At rare, we've got Day of Judgment. So we've got a 3/3 for 4 with flying and landfall. We've got some pretty hefty things here. Interesting sorcery here that's generating quite a number of tokens if it's kicked. We've got World Queller. Celestial Mantle. So, okay. It's interesting what we've got here. So we've got a creature enchantment with buffing, but then also this thing where When enchanted creature deals combat damage to player, double its controller's life total. And then we got this, so clearly that, yeah, life gain with this as well for the Lord Sovereign is a thing. So if you were lucky enough to get these in your rare slot, either, you know, to coming across some drafting or in a limited pool, part of in your 6 boosters, then, you know, maybe life gain is a thing to consider. There's quite a lot of protection here going on as well over the rarities as well. Yeah, so we've got landfall here. Okay. So, we've got now moving on the blue common. So moving on to blue now. See what we have here. Okay, so kicker again. So going back to common. Landfall, more kicker. And then the usual things. We've got to cancel here. There's a trap. Common. There's another one. Okay. So traps are a thing. There's more landfall. So yeah, definitely so far at common, you know, we're seeing kicker, landfall, and traps definitely coming through. In terms of the creature type in blue that you see a lot of at common, is it not quite so clear here? We've got merfolk. That's a wizard. That's a wizard. We do have an ally, which we've seen at the lower rarities. So allies look like they might be a thing. Serpent, fish. So yeah, so the only really commonality here is we've got 2 wizards, but it's pretty over the map, all over the map in terms of creature types in blue. So I'm not like seeing a load of merfolk at common, unlike in white where we saw these cores. So soft counter spell, 0/4 creature. I wonder if defender, like 5-colour defender, might be a thing. It's got some landfall here as well, so yeah, there's our counter spell. Yeah, interesting card there for dealing with traps, so that's cool. Return target not planned. Okay, some bounce. Right, let's move on. Moving up the rarity. See what we have. It's Hedron Crab. Yeah, 0/2 with landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, target player puts the top 3 cards. Okay, so here's Mill, an uncommon. We got a quest. Yeah, so yeah, this is another quest. We had a quest in white, didn't we? With quest counters. And uncommon. So you know, that's something you're not going to see probably quite as much as at those things that are at common. We've only got 10 cards at uncommon in blue. I didn't count up actually the ones in white. That's always interesting, like the balance of the different rarities as well in the different colours. Something that's often useful to think about. Okay, so another kicker here. We've got Trap Tutor in blue. There's another defender. Okay. So in blue we are seeing what? Yeah, 3 merfolk. So 3 merfolk. an elemental, a jellyfish, and an illusion. There's our ally, which cares about other allies. We got some blue counters as well, as in, you know, sorry, not a counter, a creature token, meant to say. Okay, at the beginning of upkeep, sacrifice living tsunami unless you return a land you control to its owner's hand. Tap target creature without flying, so we've got tap down at uncommon. Okay. Cool. Right, moving on to the blue rares. And we have Kosi's Trickster. Whenever an opponent shuffles his or her library, you put a 1/1 counter on Kosi's Trickster. Okay, there's an Ascension card. So we're seeing merfolk now, but at the higher rarities. Interesting. So there's another trap. So we've got traps across the rarities here. Another kicker spell. Another ally. We have a Sphinx with kicker. Yeah, so more, yeah. So landfalls all over the place, kickers all over the place. Yeah. Interesting how they've combined this up as well. Yeah, this is the equivalent of the, I suppose this is the blue version of that other white spell where if you kicked it you got more tokens. And then we've got Lorthus. I'm sure we'll probably come back to legendary creatures. I suspect I may have sliced some of those up just because, you know, I like to do that. Yeah, 8/8 for 8. Sphinx of Jar Isle. It's an interesting card draw as well, which scales on allies. Again, it's interesting to see, you know, if you happen to get any of these in a pack as your rare, like, would it, you know, would you want to go in that direction? Like, you know, seeing this, you suddenly think, oh yeah, I want to draft Merfolk. But as we saw, there's not many Merfolk at common. So I suppose it's definitely something that's more likely to happen in drafting, where you can get to sculpt your deck a bit better than just a regular, like limited, where you're opening 6 packs. I suppose less likely to see a lot of Merfolk because there's just not that many at common. There's a few at uncommon as we saw, but just not that many at common. Okay, let's move on. Okay, here we go. We're in black now. So, I'm not sure yet either as well whether... so I'm just moving my microphone slightly. Whoops. I'm not sure whether you know, there's a what's the word? There's certain cards here which will make you want to go in certain colour combinations. Disfigure, Gordraz Vampire, Maya Blight. As long as an opponent has 10 or less life, Gordraz Vampire gets +2/+1 and has Intimidate. Okay, so common in black, we're seeing more landfall. We've got a -2/-2 spell. Which is helpful. So we got some, yeah, it'd be interesting to sort of bear in mind the 2 toughness creatures as well. Lose 1 life. So yeah, we've already got 2 cards here at common in black, which are caring about an opponent having 10 or less life. So we need to keep an eye open for other cards that obviously deplete life. We've got some kicker stuff at common in black. Bit of landfall. Yeah, more kicker. There's allies as well here. Oh, there's our land destruction. It's +2/+2 until end of turn. +1/+1 until end of turn. So you've got some pump going on as well. There's death touch. And we're seeing vampires here. Zombies, scorpions, suricate, I think that is, insects, crocodiles, there's our ally, and a wraith. So again, so it seems so far that, yeah, the colour where there's a specific creature subtype in at common is definitely white, definitely cores. In the others, the uncommon, it's spread a bit wider. But we are seeing allies cropping up. And they care about other allies. So looks like 5 colour allies are a thing. I'm keeping my eye open here as well. I mean, landfall seems to be totally across all the colours. Kicker across all the colours. So yeah. And at the lower rarities, so definitely lots of opportunities with those 2. Okay, here, uncommon, so quests. So clearly, yeah, there's uncommons, a slot for quests. More kicker. Some destruction. Now this is interesting, so we've got 2, you know, I can't again unremember these 2 cards. So this, if you remember, was Magic's way of dealing with planeswalkers. Vampire Hex Mage, 2 drop in black, 2/1 with first strike, and then Vampire Nighthawk. So 1 and 2 black, 2/3, Flying Death Touch with lifelink. So again, we'll keep our eye out for lifelink in black, because there could be some interesting sort of white-black life gain, lifelink deck here in the set. Yeah, more traps. So you can see definitely here that, you know, the traps are making utility spells cheaper to cast. That's the key thing. Okay, we've got some discard. We've seen some mill as well already, so there may be some sort of black-white, blue-black mill going on. Your control, you may lose life equal, yeah. Okay, so clearly we've got some like mono black life loss shenanigans, but also possibly combining that with white as well. So, you know, black splashing white or white splashing black, or a combinations thereof. Let's move up to a higher rarity. Okay, yeah, here's the 10 or less life thing. Bloodghast. We've got our Ascension card. Yeah. So yeah, life loss. Another ally card. There's a Spectre in here. So obviously playing to some of the discard cards. So yeah, we're seeing a bit of mill, bit of discard. I wonder if you can leverage those two together, and there's any way of, stealing stuff from an opponent's graveyard. Not sure yet. Okay, this one cares about the number of vampires. We do have, there is a bit of a vampire theme here, but I don't know whether it's quite as strong at the lower rarities as, say, the cores, but yeah, definitely. So, what are we really seeing here? Like cores in white, merfolk in blue, again, but a little bit skewed away from just commons to uncommons and rares, and I suppose the same to some degree with vampires as well. I'm wondering whether because of that this is definitely a better set to draft than it is to play sealed with 6 boosters. Yeah, we've got landfall, kicker. Here's our planeswalker. Again, yeah, playing around with life. Yeah, this thing as well with 10. So that's the other theme in black. Opponent having 10 or less life. The only thing as well with this, I think I said at the start, this is an incredibly, or seemed to me when the one time or the few times I drafted this online, it was really fast set. And, often if you went up against a super fast deck, you were dead by the time you got your big stuff out. So yeah, I don't know like how good some of these like higher casting cost bombs are, just simply because maybe you didn't get the opportunity to cast them. Okay, yep. So commons in red. So yeah, more kicker. So yeah, I think we've established already that the kicker was pretty strongly indicated in the set if you're opening packs. Landfall, the other thing, yeah, more landfall. Allies, because it's across multiple colours. So although you're not seeing a lot of allies necessarily at common in a particular colour, you are seeing them across colours. So yeah. There's a red direct damage spell, sorcery speed. There's our asymmetric pump. We've got interesting cards like this at common, which crop up in Magic. Fire breathing. Blade Trust Ball and Intimidate. There's our land and artifact destruction in red. Another ally. We got this, which scales on the number of mountains. Now, are we seeing much landfall? There's 1, 2 here. There's a expedition here with quest counters. So again, yeah, quest counters pretty strongly represented at lower rarities. Yeah, allies again. This is fun. I'm enjoying this. Yeah, I got to play this online several years after it came out. At the time it came out, I was basically just opening packs because it was after the fact. Oh, here's another quest. Unstable footing, punishing fire, goblin roommaster. Actually, one thing I didn't do, let's see if I can just go back there. Goblin wise, it's just interesting here. What's our creature type, subtypes that sort of come out at common in red? Yeah, goblins. No surprise there. Yep. Okay, moving back. So yeah, it looks like we've got around 10 uncommons in each of the colours. Stable footing, so more kicker. More landfall. Of course, one of the disadvantages is here, because I'm not slicing it by the set abilities or keywords, then I'm not necessarily getting a feel for, or an easy assessment of how landfall's balanced around in each colour. But just purely going through this way, it does look maybe there's slightly less landfall in red. I mean, I could be wrong there, but it'd be interesting tomorrow actually when I do the sealed build, like what impression I get of the set from that as well. And that's why I wanted to do these two sort of back to back, so you got that nice feel, because that would be the sort of thing that a lot of people would have done at pre-release. If you'd not seen the set before. Here we go, Goblin. I remember Goblin Guide. There's another Ascension card. So clearly all these Ascension cards, they're at the higher rarity. More goblins though. There's another Planeswalker. Yeah, so it looks like we could have a pretty fast red deck, no surprise, in the making, looking at this set. Not surprising, I imagine red-white would be pretty aggressive. Oh, there is a dragon in here. It is a 6-drop, 5/5. I suppose what I might, with the benefit of hindsight now as I've gone deeper into this, I probably would have been interested in, as I've been going through, had I have, remembered a little bit more about the set, been quite interested at all those, like the 4-drop creatures maybe. They've got 4/4 for 4 here, 1 and 2 red. Put a blaze counter on a target land without a blaze counter on it. As long as that land has a blaze counter on it, at the beginning of your upkeep, this land deals 1 damage to you. I mean, would it be right to say there's quite a bit of like land hate in red in this set, and as a consequence, that's why the landfall has been dialed back a bit thematically? Yeah. And again, if you got any comments on the set, yourself from stuff you remember, please stick it in the comments section. I'd love to know your own, rememberings of the set, or just if this is the first time you've seen the set, like, what really leaps out to you by doing it this sort of way. Hopefully this is coming across for you as it is for me, but obviously you'll get a slightly different lens on it maybe. Oh, there's Scythe Tiger. Remember this, single green with 3-2. So, okay, so first we think, what's the downside? So, and it has Shroud as well, but when it enters the battlefield, sacrifice it unless you sacrifice a land. So it's basically a green and a land to cast, but you get a 3-2 cat with Shroud. Oh yeah, of course, Vines of Vastwood. So unkicked, you've got Shroud until end of turn. Kicked, yep, +4/+4. So there's another landfall enchantment, quest counters. So are we going to see elves here in green? At common, we're going to see a lot of them or not? Got another ally. So yeah, 5-colour ally. Clearly a thing. So we've got a bit of damage prevention, which we also saw in white as well. Landfall with life gain. So yeah, green, was it? Green, white, life gain. Again, once you sort of, open more cards in a set, you sometimes see that the set colours align with some of those classic, allegiances in colour, like green, white, life gain, and you got the black, white, life gain with the drain. So with the life loss as well. Be interesting to see what we've got colour fixing wise as well. Like is 3-colour doable? And bearing in mind, if the set is super fast as well. So like what fixing do we have at lower rarities? Yeah, there's our mana ramp in green at common, which is nice. Oh, here we go. So we've got green's way interesting, creature tutoring, but the way it was done here. Yeah, more allies, more kicker. There's a pump spell, pump enchantment. There's a mold shambler. It's interesting. So again, with this, if you don't kick it, you get a creature. If you do, then you get interesting additional effect. Yeah, so we're seeing lots of ETB in the set, lots of conditional ETB, and then also this interesting landfall effect where the card is in effect having an ETB effect on land on another card. And then we've got these interesting vanilla cards like Vastwood Gorger, 5 and a green, 5/6. I mean, yeah, green's got ramp, but again, is the format just too fast for this to be able to get this out in a timely manner before you've just been, had all your life depleted anyway? Oh, there's our artifact and enchantment, destruction in green. Pretty hefty cost, 4 and a green, but you do get to do two with that. And again, yeah, we're seeing, aren't we, here, this sort of scalable thing on land, which seems to be repeating itself in the different colours on different cards. So yeah, that's again, obviously that's going to tie in with landfall. Okay, so what would we say is our predominant creature type at green? Really, again, it's a bit like when we looked at blue. Really, it's all over the map. So we've got an elf, a cat, human warrior ally. There are a couple of allies here. Are there only 2? Yeah, but yeah, all sorts of things. Elf rogue. So I suppose you could argue, well, there is 2 elves here, but it's not like the cause in white. Okay. Uncommon. Primal Bella. Yeah, see, again, scaling off of land. Oh yeah, we got a lot of land-related stuff here. No surprise. Some more elves here. So yeah, another colour where there's a bigger or a larger amount of particular creature subtype in uncommon than common. But again, only 10 uncommons here. Another trap, landfall, another death touch creature. But again, look, we've got a lot of creatures here that are removable by that -2 black spell. Okay, yeah, Lotus Cobra was in the set, so we're now on to rares and mythics. Scoot Mob, yeah, again, this sort of conditional land thing going on. Of course, Beastmaster Ascension. Yeah, quest counters again. Here's our green Planeswalker. Lotus Cobra. Oh yeah. Yeah, I remember green being particularly interesting in this set. You got Turn Timber Ranger. Again, what's our stuff sort of 4 and below as well, bearing in mind the speed thing. And we've got Summoning Traps, another trap. Yeah, more landfall. I remember this Terror Stomper. 8/8 for 3 and 3 green, so 8/8 for 6. Can't be countered, and it has trample. So you can, if you manage to get out that out, that's pretty cool. And Rampaging Balos. So yeah, what if you got this out, spitting out tokens, but it is a 6 drop. So, but you're in green again, so if you're making over your usual land drops because of the ramp and various other things, then probably better position to do that. I wonder if at that time there was quite a lot of green splashing another colour, where the other colour that had the bomb in it just so you had the ramp in green, and then that way it was more likely you were going to be able to cast the splashed colours, high casting cost thing. But again, notice we're seeing a lot. This is another good way in a set of seeing what is it trying to push you towards playing more mono colours. Is the presence of triple colours or double colours in that particular colour, which again I didn't think of thinking about before I went through this, which is another reason for doing it cold or not. But it always makes you think about things like that after the fact. So yeah, something else I would definitely look out for in this set is what's the number of cards where you've got multi colours in the casting cost of the same colour, because you can see so far we've not seen any dual colour stuff. So our reason for playing splashing another colour, or playing multiple colours, or playing equal amounts of 2 different colours is going to be from a utility standpoint. There doesn't seem to be anything particularly because there's no multicoloured cards that would instantly push us to play multiple colours, because we opened like a 2-colour bomb, or because there isn't one. There's no multicolour bombs, so I suppose that's where I'm going with this. But saying that, there might be certain rares which definitely their very nature might want you to play multiple colours, just because the way the utility breaks down, and there might be things in the other colour that really help. So yeah, interesting. Okay, best bit. So this is a little bit mixed up, but it doesn't really matter too much. So you can see we've got these, yeah, so interesting things going on artwork wise, if you remember. Here we've got the regular colour artwork, wasn't there, like full colour land as well, kicking around for this, from what I remember. So a bit of a mixed bag here. But what I might do then is let's just subdivide this one up a little bit more. So let's just take out the land actually. So oh yeah, I need to do that. I forgot about that. Type land. That's better. Okay, so in terms of artifacts, because we haven't seen that yet, we're looking at all the colourless stuff now. So at common, we have these Spider Silk Net, Adventuring Gear, Expedition Map, Explorer's Scope, Hedron Scrambler, Stonework Puma. You'll see that out of these 6, 3 of them are equipment, and they're at common. So, you know, if you remember going back to the core stuff, there was a element within this set that, you know, cared about equipment. So we do have some equipment going on here. So interesting to see how that pans out as we go through. In terms of the stuff, and the reason why this comes up is when you're doing this sort of search, lands here, because I'm doing by colour and not ID, are classed as colour of 0 because of the casting cost. There is no casting cost. So you've got the land here. There's our basic lands. Again, let's just break this down a little bit. So we'll try, let's look at non-basics first. So yeah, there was this interesting cycle at, as we can see here, this is probably the only time we'll get to see at this point now, the cycles will bubble up a little bit better. And that's this cycle of common lands. It came into play tapped. They all tap for a single colour. And they had this interesting utility on them. So the white one was life, the black one was life loss. So life gain, life loss. Flying in blue, +2, +0 in red, and then in green we had a bit of pump going on, +1, +1. And if I do images, there we go. So yeah, so you can see now, if I also organise this by colour, there we go. So in the different colours, you basically had 2 of the regular artwork land, and then 2 of the full artwork land, or as full as artwork land tended to be at that point in Magic's history. And at the time, of course, these went on to be quite expensive, because at that point, apart from the lands in the unsets, I think I'm right in saying these were the only full art lands for quite a number of sets, and then suddenly they went crazy. And you know, they were really, you know, in other sets, full art lands were easy to get hold of, and they were printing them, I think, possibly in the I don't know if it was in the toolkits first, but I remember them turning up in, didn't they turn up in the fat packs, and then it made the fat packs really expensive or something. There was a weird time when I tried to get hold of a fat pack of a particular set and had a lot of trouble because they were flying off the shelves because they had full artwork in, and I think that was like a return to Zendikar set, or one of the follow-up Zendikar sets maybe, when they did that. But you can see as well that the artwork's quite different between the two. It's not like a sort of more extensive version of the smaller artwork, But again, very nice artwork, very evocative. Yeah. So, moving on. See if we have to do any sort of on-the-fly slicing and dicing. So, if I just net off, first of all, a type of land, so we can look at the equipment, or well, the artifacts, I suppose. So yeah, more equipment. We're at uncommon now. A couple of artifacts. We got a bit of mana fixing here. We got some card draw through sacrificing a creature, and then we've got interesting stuff here. Equipped creature can't be blocked by vampires or zombies. Equipped creature has non-basic land walk. Interesting twist. +2/+1. So again, things to make our core friends happy. And then on the flip side, there we go. So an uncommon, another cycle of land. So we do have some 2-colour fixing here, and as you can see, if we put this in colour order, yeah, it's allied colours. So they come into battlefield tapped. You gain life when they enter the battlefield, white or blue. So I suppose if you're opening 6 packs of boosters, there is a chance that you won't see these, because yeah, you get 3 uncommons per booster. But if you were drafting, then yeah, I imagine, I suppose that well, that's the problem, isn't it? It depends on whether people are going to end up first picking this sort of stuff or not. So yeah, that's the thing. But yeah, so your 2-colour fixing is uncommon. So then, if we move up to the higher rarity, again, let's just screen this out. So we'll go minus type of land first of all. So we'll just look at the uncommon, the equipment. So a couple of mythic artifacts here. We've got Eldrazi Monument, interestingly enough, in here. Creatures you control get +1/+1, have flying and indestructible at the beginning of your upkeep. Sacrifice a creature. If you can't, sacrifice Eldrazi Monument. So there is a sack theme here, all by looking at it, albeit maybe at the higher rarities, to really leverage that properly. There's our life shenanigans. Yeah, more stuff that cares about vampires. And double strike here. Yeah. And then if we look at the land, so here we actually have is this 2 cycles of land here? See if I can do this. Yeah, so we've got the monocolour lands, which all have these interesting abilities on them. So some of these sort of like conditional. So this one, if you have 7 or more lands, you can return a creature card from graveyard to the battlefield. The blue one does some stuff with counters. The black one, there's a filter effect which scales off of black creatures in a graveyard. This interesting one, the Valakut, which is if you have at least 5 or other mountains, it deals 3 damage, or in Reef does stuff with counters. So with these, yeah, when you're getting up at these sort of higher rarities and the sort of things they're asking you to do, some of these may be difficult to pull off in sealed, maybe slightly easier in draft if you're trying to sculpt a deck really, but of course it depends on what other people are drafting, I suppose. But certainly you could see, you know, that again, certain cards in here probably going to have a bigger impact on standard at the time. I think extended was still around as well, and other formats rather than necessarily sealed formats or limited formats. And then also there's these interesting fetch lands. So pay 1 life, sack them, and then you search the library for a mountain or plains card. Now, if you look at these, you can see here, interestingly enough, these are in enemy colours. So you've got this cycle of enemy colour at the higher rarity. And then, how can we not finish off with some legendaries? So these were the legendaries in the set. So you can see a number of them are legendaries by the fact that they're planeswalkers. So a green, a red and a black. And then we've got legendary creatures here, Obnixilis, Colitis, I think that is. Sounds like a nasty disease. Lorthos and Iona. There. And you can see here there's the reference to Nissa's Chosen there. But yeah, so what we got? 4-drop, 5, 6, up to this, which is 9, very heavily. Yeah, all of these. Obviously, at least 2 in the same colour as well. I was just going to go back through quickly. Oh yeah, there's Nissa's Chosen. Oh yeah, obviously in the set. I just was curious what rarity that was more than anything. So yeah, that was fun to look through that. So yeah, landfall. So if I do go back through, what did we learn? Well, yeah, landfall, cause, equipment, kicker. I didn't really see a defender thing there fully. I must be getting muddled up with another set. As in terms of what would I play? I don't know. Mono red, red white maybe. I suppose you've got, what is it? Mono white core, mono black vampires. There's obviously, I imagine there's a red green aggro in here thing going on. It's also interesting sometimes to look at the intro decks as well from this as well. Sometimes that gives you a little bit of a clue. It's not always that clear because obviously the decks are made to be modified, but sometimes that can be a thing. And again, if I was doing some more stuff, a good thing to do is look back at the original. So this acts almost as like as a complement to the original set musings I did where I would have sliced through. So I'll include a link to that as well, rather than me just go back through and say, oh, let's have a look at and see all the landfall cards. I'll link you back to the original set musings I did, where indeed I went through and would have looked at all the landfall cards, that sort of thing as well. So hopefully you enjoyed this. I enjoyed putting this together. It was an interesting thing to do. Let me know if you maybe want to, in the future, to do sort of just, sporadic ones of this, and if people have particular sets they'd like me to do it for, let me know. As I said, I'm keen to maybe do World Wake and Rise of the Eldrazi, just because they were the same era as this. Anyway, thanks once again for watching. Bye for now, and I will catch you in a future episode.